Are you curious what's going to happen to your career next month? Stay tuned for a reading that might help. Hi everybody, I'm Sue Ellen Clayton. Welcome to my channel where we're learning how to read tarot one card at a time. In today's video, we'll be using a 3-card spread to look at what is happening to someone's career next month. I will be using the Radiant Rider-Waite Tarot, and there is a link below. This reading was posted anonymously on Facebook by someone I will call Austin, and the question he wanted to answer was, what is going to happen to my career next month? Austin drew 3 cards. He did not mention that he used a spread, however, I am going to use a 3-card spread. Card number 1 is about the energy Austin brings to his career. The card he pulled was Temperance. Card number 2 is about where Austin should focus his energy. He drew the Ace of Pentacles. Card number 3 is about the outcome of focusing his energy, and he drew the 9 of Wands. I try to look for commonalities when I start reading, and this one was tough. These cards were all pretty different. All had blue skies with clouds, and all had green backgrounds, and that was pretty much it. There is a lot that is different. When we compare the figures, we see an angel, a disembodied hand, and a beat-up guy. When we compare directions, the angel in Temperance is looking down, the hand is facing to our right, and the man in the 9 of Wands is facing to our left. Their actions are all different. Temperance is pouring, the hand is holding a coin, and the man on the right is clinging to a wand. On the ground, we see water in Temperance, a meadow with a path in the Ace, and a stage in the 9 of Wands. There isn't even any cohesion in the suits. We have one major arcana, a pentacle, and a wand. So we kind of struck out on the commonalities, so let's look at more details in each of the cards. The first card is about the energy that Austin brings to his career, and the card he drew was Temperance. First, let's talk a little bit about temperance. In the Bible, temperance is defined as emotional restraint or self-control. Basically, it means moderation. It is a card about blending opposites and finding the middle, moderate way. Temperance indicates a person who is wise and very spiritual. It is someone who is patient and goes with the flow. In his career, Austin is a person who is productive but guards against burnout by taking regular breaks. He addresses conflicts calmly and patiently rather than avoiding conflict or letting things escalate. Austin would make decisions in a timely fashion without being impulsive or hesitating. He keeps his cool in stressful situations. Austin would also be good at reconciling opposites and finding a win-win solutions. And he would be a team player who supports and cooperates with his colleagues. One of my favorite parts of the Temperance card is how he is pouring the water. We see that it is being poured at a 45-degree angle, and this is impossible due to gravity. So I think that Austin might have a reputation for pulling off the impossible. Card number 2 is where Austin needs to focus his attention, and he drew the Ace of Pentacles. Aces are about new beginnings, and I see the Ace of Pentacles as an invitation from Spirit for Austin to try something new in the area of his work, health, or home. He is considered such a cool-headed, competent, middle-of-the-road person that I think it would be good for him to shake things up a bit. On the Ace of Pentacles, we see an opening through the hedge. This is a gateway into something new that can be calling Austin to move beyond the safety of what he's doing now and take some risks. But it requires him to go beyond the flat path, which is easy to navigate, to reach a mountain range which, in tarot, represents potential obstacles, as well as exciting new opportunities. So I think the message of this card is that Austin needs to focus on taking some kind of risk. He could start some kind of new project at the office. It could be anything from adding a new product to upgrading the computer system to encouraging the staff to do yoga at lunch. Another option is for Austin to improve his skills. That could involve going back to school and getting an MBA, or something less major like taking an online course or attending a conference. Perhaps Austin could ask for more. He could ask for more money in terms of a raise, bonus, or profit sharing. He could ask for more time off by requesting a vacation or sabbatical. He could ask for more support in terms of hiring an assistant. He could ask for an upgrade to his workspace by requesting his own office, an ergonomic chair, or a standing desk. He could ask to improve his work-life balance by requesting a 4-day work week or the ability to telecommute on Fridays. Austin could also make changes outside of work. For instance, he could make changes to improve his health. That could be as simple as finally scheduling an overdue physical or leaving his car at the far end of the office parking lot to get some additional exercise. He could do something like taking up meditation or vowing to get to bed by 11 o'clock on work nights. Finally, he could shake it up at home by starting some new kind of project. Perhaps he'd like to plant a garden or set up a workshop in his basement and learn how to use power tools. Maybe he could do something that would improve his relationship with his family, such as going go-karting with his kids or hosting a monthly barbecue for his relatives. I do think that he was offered more money. The right hand is commonly associated with offering something, while the left hand is the hand of receiving. So I feel like Austin's employer offered him more money or some other kind of benefit that made his job more lucrative. That might have been more money or perhaps the ability to work from home part-time. You've made it this far in the video, and I wanted to stop and ask for a favor if you're not already a subscriber, and that is to please hit the subscribe button. It is free for you, and it will help me grow this channel. Plus, it means that you won't miss anything. Thanks so much, and if you're already a subscriber, I truly appreciate your ongoing support. Now let's get back to the video. Let's look at the outcome of Austin focusing his energy. And Austin pulled the 9 of Wands. I love it when I'm reading cards and the meaning comes to me intuitively, and I can have some sort of brilliant insight and you'll all think that I'm very clever. Well, that didn't happen in this case. When I'm stuck, I rely on the meaning of the cards and allow myself to ramble a bit. So that's what I'm going to do, and hopefully I will come up with something that makes sense. So here goes. Here we see a beat-up young man holding a wand with 8 wands behind him. This is a far cry from the Mr. Successful in the Temperance card, where he was so good at moderation and highly regarded by his coworkers. Note that the bandage over his head is over his third eye, the same place as we saw the disc on Temperance. But Austin doesn't look like the calm, serene angel with the halo that we saw in the first card. Instead of dipping his toe into a pool and beautiful scenery behind him, the wands almost look like he's created a jail behind him. This card is about persevering to overcome challenges, and it looks like he's had some challenges. He's tired, he's been fighting, he's wounded, but he's still standing and looking towards the past. The sky is a lot clearer, so he has more clarity of thought. We're also at the 9, so we've almost come to the 10s of wands, which completes the cycle of the wands. Although, spoiler alert, this is what the 10 of wands look like, so I'm not sure that's where he wants to go. So I know that his life will get more challenging. It almost looks like he's in jail. I wonder if he's recognized that he wasn't as happy as he thought in his job, and it felt like being in prison. Stages are where you go to be separated from other people or to think about your life. He's certainly separate from his coworkers. It's almost like he put up a barrier between himself and everything else. He's no longer a team player. So he's created some boundaries and people aren't relying on him to solve all of their problems anymore. I can see that he's stopped making magic with his 2 cups pouring liquid and defying the laws of gravity. Now he's gripping onto a single wand. Wands are about action. He's not multitasking anymore. He's choosing one action at a time. I finished describing all of the attributes on the 9 of Wands and still can come up with what was going to happen to Austin's career next month. So I sat and I stared at the card for about half an hour. Thankfully, I'm not doing a live reading because you would have been very, very bored. And then I realized, I don't think Austin wants to do this anymore. I don't think that the money shown in the previous card is enough to him. I don't think that he wants to be on the safe path anymore. I think he wants to walk through the hedge and have a new experience, even though he might be facing some obstacles. He's still got his intuition and knows that he wants to quit his job, but I think he's fighting the idea of leaving because even though he's unhappy, he is still focused on the money. What this card represents is an internal battle rather than having someone literally beat him up. The Nine of Wands is a card about perseverance, and I think part of Austin wants to continue working at his company because that's the kind of guy he is. He's Temperance. He's a middle-of-the-road guy with self-control. He's not the kind of guy that quits his job for no reason. He's well-regarded. He's well-compensated. He's great at doing his job. But he's finally got some clarity, he's trusting his intuition, and he realizes that there's now a barrier between himself and his former coworkers. He realizes that he wants to work in a different way, by himself and doing one thing at a time, rather than multitasking and solving everyone else's problems. Before I summarize these three cards, I want to make a point. I am so grateful that this wasn't a live reading, because sometimes reading tarot cards is very challenging and you just keep going until something feels right. Perhaps in a live reading, I would have been more focused and come to the conclusion that Austin didn't want to stay with his current job sooner. Or maybe I would have been so stressed at not having the answer that I would have given up. I don't know. I do know that once I got to the fact that Austin didn't want to work there any longer, I immediately relaxed and felt like I'd completed the reading. Finally. But I seriously had to work for this one. So let's summarize. Austin wanted to know what was going to happen to his career next month. Card number 1 looked at the energy that Austin brought to his career, and he pulled the Temperance card. It was obvious that Austin was very skilled at his job, and people appreciated his balanced and moderate approach. He was also viewed as a great team player and had a reputation for pulling off the impossible. In the second card, we looked at where Austin should focus his energy, and he drew the Ace of Pentacles. This was an invitation from Spirit for Austin to try something new in the area of his work, his health, or his home. He looked at what changes he could make, including asking his boss for more compensation, which he received. But Austin was also drawn to walking through the opening of the hedge, away from the safety of his current job, to something more risky and potentially exciting. This created an internal struggle for Austin. And then we got to card number 3, which was the outcome of Austin focusing his energy, and he drew the Nine of Wands. This is a card about perseverance, and I really got stuck. After a ridiculous amount of time, I realized that Austin no longer wants the job, although he is torn because the money is so good. The battle scars in this card represent his internal struggle between staying in his current position and doing something different. The question we set out to answer was, what will happen to Austin's career next month? And the answer is that he made requests for more compensation, which were agreed to, and he realized he no longer wanted the job. 1 month is a very short time frame to make such a difficult position, but that was the timeline given in the reading. Since he is such a careful person, I expect that he will spend a few months weighing his options and then make a careful, balanced decision. I hope that this video gave you some ideas that you can apply to your tarot practice. Please leave a comment if you'd like to share what you've learned. I hope that you enjoyed this video, and I look forward to seeing you next time.